Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Everyone, and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. We are so pleased to have you here for our spectacular show, the United Kingdom News and Culture. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK. I am the founder, president, and chief listening officer here at our network. Our lovely co-host, DIANN FLOYD has the day off. We're sending you well wishes, DIANN. I hope everything is beautiful in your world. Let's bring out our team of expert correspondents from the United Kingdom. These people need no introduction because they have so much experience and so much knowledge about what it takes to lead your life with your heart, no matter what the circumstances are, no matter what you're covering. These three individuals have my utmost respect because not only do they have the highest level of professionalism, they just are beautiful people inside and out. So let's welcome them. Helena Chard, hello.
Hi, Dr. JACALYN. So excited to be here again.
Nice to have you back. And Mr. Ian Palm-Turner, hello.
Good afternoon to America. This is London calling, London calling.
Hello, I'm answering. Hello. And let's welcome Simon MacDonald. Hello.
Hello, all over the world. I know there are people listening in and watching in today from the four corners of the globe. So welcome, one and all.
Yes, absolutely. And we just want to give a special thanks to all of those who were involved with World Jenny's Day 2022. It was an epic success. And we're talking about the gala that we're going to put together for next year, hopefully in New York. So if you didn't get to see the show, please go over to our YouTube channel, USA Global TV and Radio. All right, what's hot in the UK?
Oh, there's lots and lots of things. I mean, we do have a spillover. We talked about World Jenny's Day, which was a real great success. Thank you, Dr. JACALYN. It went so well, and so many wonderful people were giving their creativity. It was it was really heartwarming. So that was a great thing. Following on from there, mental health. Obviously because of the special day, everyone's been talking about it. We've had Prince William, Kate Middleton on Newsbeat talking about mental health and basically giving young people the tools to deal with their emotions. And also, I mean, I always like to talk about, it's called Shout, and it's a text service, and you text Shout to 85258. I just wanted to bring that up because it's working very, very well with young men, particularly who find it hard to really talk to different people to get help. So they have teamed up with Harry Kane, who's a fabulous footballer over here. The boys will know more about him than I do, but it's the Harry Kane Foundation, and it's to raise awareness really of men football fans, basically, which is quite clever, to do with their mental health. So it's going really, really well. And I know this year, I think Shout have heard, this is so far, from something like 73,000 boys and men who are obviously struggling. So it's a brilliant service, so easy. 85258 is who you text. Moving on from that, from a royal thing, we've all heard now when the coronation date is going to take place. So it's been revealed that King Charles III's coronation is going to be on May the 6th. So slightly different to the date that we thought it would be. And that's will be something like 8 months, I think, then, since Her Majesty passed. So it's not that long, but it's going to be at Westminster Abbey, and I believe that, I find it very hard to say, so Queen Consort is also going to be crowned along with King Charles III. So looking forward to seeing that. And I'm sure we're going to be busy as all the media lands on our doorstep. So it's going to be great fun. And actually, I have heard as well that King Charles III is going to appear on, it's a brilliant show here in the UK called The Repair Shop. And it's where people take all their old things that mean so much to them. It could be anything from a teddy bear to a pot or anything. And a really talented bunch of people repair things seamlessly. You wouldn't believe that there was anything wrong with them. But it's a fantastic show. And I think he's going to appear with, I think it's a big vase or pot that Queen Victoria had given to the family. So looking forward to that. And there's lots of other things happening as well. But I just have to say one thing which was slightly shocking, and it's something for everyone to bear in mind, is the last sort of breaking news alert I've heard. I don't know what the boys saying, but so the NHS, our wonderful NHS that we really love dearly and want to keep forever and ever, it's the first Amber Alert. It's the first ever Amber Alert, as the status of blood supplies have dropped very, very low. So that's something to think about.
I was just wondering when Helena was talking about the repair shop, whether she was going to take me along. Being sort of slightly old, perhaps slightly in need of repair, and I wonder what they could actually do for me as well at the same time. But obviously at the moment as well, we're coming into winter now. I mean, I know you don't know the meaning of winter over there, in either New York or hot Florida. So I think but it will start getting cold very, very shortly. And obviously they're worried about other things happening as well. So I had my COVID jab now 2 weeks ago, and I'll have my flu jab, I think, very, very shortly as well. And it is, it's a worrying time, but it's also a time where I think British people seem to be pulling together against the government mainly. But we've had a period at the moment where there's been a lot of political unrest, and it'll be very interesting to hear Simon's take on, because I think the SNP conference has just finished as well, hasn't it, Simon?
Yes, it has indeed, and it was in Aberdeen, the Granite City, with the Granite Lady taking the lead there. So all the plans are laid out. It's in the Supreme Court at the moment, in fact, as to whether they're going to grant us the right to go ahead with the referendum for independence or not. So there are a lot of Scots waiting with bated breath to see the outcome of that one. I think it might take a wee while, but there is a date that's actually been planned and set for October next year. So we shall see.
What do you think of it? Because, I mean, I've always thought that Scotland should have its independence if that's the will of the Scottish people, first of all. And apparently if it's the Scottish courts, isn't it, that's going to sort of say that you can go ahead with this referendum. But if they turn it down, then you're going to have a general election, aren't you, or an election in Scotland, to purely sort of go on the vote of whether it should be independent or not, if I'm correct.
Yeah, the Supreme Court, where it's all happening just now, that's in London. So that's the seat of the UK government. But I mean, there has been sort of feelings amongst Ireland and Wales and Scotland as well that perhaps it would be a better idea if England went for independence. It turns the whole thing. Then it's a thought.
Simon, I thought we had already. This thing called Brexit. I don't think anybody wants to talk to us at the moment, apart from the Americans, of course, the wonderful Americans. You're our last bastion of hope in England, that Americans will smile happily and warmly upon us and rescue us from all this. It's such strange times at the moment. You know, I look at what's happening around the world, and you know, we need to have as much confidence in ourselves as possible at the moment, and as much positivity as well. So it was very pleasing to see that King Charles III will be having his coronation next year. I think he can't wait, if I'm really honest. I mean, you know, talk about that. When I used to work in Scotland, there was a saying in newspapers in Scotland of putting a kilt on it, and that meant putting a Scottish angle to any news story from around the world, putting a kilt to it. And I think Charles has taken this one step further at the moment, because all I ever see him in is a kilt right now. So you know, it's an interesting thought, and he seems to be well, not overjoyed, because obviously he's still getting over the Queen's death, but he seems to be overjoyed with the reception he's getting at the moment, especially in Scotland.
I did hear that actually he's connecting very well with people, incredibly well, far more than anyone thought. And so allegedly, this is what I heard, that the figures for independence in Scotland have actually gone down. Now, am I correct in this? That's what I've heard. I mean, it could be that all the royal stuff recently, you know, and obviously seeing King Charles III out and about, connecting with everybody, has sort of swayed things slightly, but seems quite odd if that is the case in a way. But that was my feeling. I just wondered what you thought, Simon.
Yeah, that it's a bit of an interesting conundrum of uncertainty just now, because just now the polls are suggesting that about 52% plus are in favour of independence. But there's another one going about. Should Scotland be a republic, or should we retain the monarchy? And I think the majority just now are going for the monarchy. There is a loud faction shouting for a republic, but deep down it would appear that most people want to retain the monarchy here as well. So do we become a Commonwealth country, or are we just cultivating King Charles in our ways here, and we have attracted him to spend more time lapping up what we have in Scotland?
Do you think Scotland would go a lot closer to Europe again? Do you think it would try and become part of the EU if they got their independence? What's the feeling?
You wouldn't see us for dust. Would be, you know, well, actually, Scotland will be welcomed into Europe with open arms. You know, it has been suggested, and I think Spain was about the one country that wasn't certain, but now they're 100% sure they want us there. So it will be great, because you know, from my point of view, from the fisheries point of view, it means we get our customers back, and we can still deal with America and Canada and the Far East and all the other countries that we're dealing with. So you know, why can't we deal in a simplistic way with Europe? And when I say simplistic, I mean cut out all this horrific paperwork that suddenly was installed the day Brexit started. And not only has it been installed, but it's been redone again and it made even more complicated.
Do you think you can control your waters more around Scotland if that was the case? Because obviously what you were saying about before with you know, the offshore wind farms and so forth, and it's causing all sorts of problems to fisheries at the same time. Would you be able to control that more?
Well, control the waters, just keep taking the tablets, you know, and it works wonders. But no, the big problem is just now, in fact, there's in this week's fishing news, I think they've got about a couple of pages with me and waxing on about the biggest problem ever to hit the fishing industry, being the spatial squeeze, because there's such a push from government just now, and I'm not just meaning Scottish government, but I'm particular UK government, to add more and more offshore wind farms now. It's become a case of not in my backyard. We don't want to see these windmills ashore anymore. Put them out to sea, nobody will see them there. But they forget that the effect, huge effect that it's going to have on taking up valuable grounds for fishing. And it's going in there just now almost unregulated. I mean, classic example, one developer who's got plans for 18 sites, and out of the 18 sites, 16 of them are on prime haddock spawning ground. I mean, that's just an absolute disaster for the future of fishing as well. Fishing industry at the moment is probably one of the lowest carbon industries, and producing a very high viable nutritional food. So as there are more people alive than ever died, then we need more food on the planet, and the seas have got plenty there, so long as they're well managed. So it's very important that we retain the traditional and historically productive fishing grounds. So I mean, I'm all set for campaigning that. Never mind just having these protected areas at sea for this, that, and the next, including wind farms. Let's have protected areas at sea for our fishing industry. We need to be.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to jump in with a question. We interviewed a guest recently, and the guest shared that because so many people are eating fish, more fish is being consumed than ever, that this is directly impacting the ocean pollution crisis because there's more fishermen out there, and that we should start eating meat. I don't know. What are your thoughts about this?
Right.
Is he falling off his chair?
Wait, I can't hear you. What are you saying?
Yeah, I think that's quite an interesting concept. You don't get many cows and sheep at sea. That's
I don't eat meat, so I found it very interesting.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of fish in the sea, and there's just more mouths that need feeding. And because the difficulties the fishing industry is going through, not just here but on a global basis, but particularly in the UK just now because of the offshore renewables, then it's become sort of really well and truly flagged up and highlighted. So it's on everybody's tongues just now that there's problems in the fishing industry because of this. But it's subliminal advertising, I think they call it, and it's actually making more people eat more fish. So we're quite happy about that. But it's getting to be a supply and demand situation, rapidly approaching us because of the lack of space, and it means that more and more boats will tie up forevermore. So we've got to take care of these jobs. There's a lot of jobs involved.
I mean, your heart pacemaker was duly tested then by the thoughts of turning people onto meat. But I've got another thing that is going to probably send the spirits rising again, literally. Because there's a firm in London now that's going to produce whiskey. What's the thought on that?
Well, so long as they spell it in the way that you would spell it in Ireland or America, then fair enough. It's imitation Scotch, basically, at the end of the day. But well, they're producing whiskey in just about every country. In actual fact, I remember in south of France, I had a local whiskey that was produced there, and it was excellent. It was really, really good. And of course, I mean, it was being put to the test, and I had about half a dozen whiskies put in front of me, and they'll say one of these is from this region in the south of France, around Minervois. So I thought, okay, so that was it. And I went through all these glasses, and they were a lovely time, but especially as I didn't have to pay for them, I'm a true Scot through and through. But they were all excellent. But I could identify the island malt straight away because you can taste the sea and there's the peatiness and that smokiness there. But then some of the other malts and some of the lowland malts and so on, which are very, very good, and then there was the French one, and I had to really get the thinking cap out to work out, you know, which was the French. I could discount 3 but straight away because I knew there were island ones, but the other 3 I thought, yeah, right. It took a bit of working out, and as it happened, I didn't actually get it right. I chose the wrong one. So there we are. The you know, whiskey can be produced very well in other countries. They're even producing it in South Africa. Japan's got a huge whiskey industry as well. In fact, a lot of the Scotch whiskey companies in Scotland are owned by Japanese. So they're the biggest consumers of whiskey per head of capita anywhere in the world.
Goodness.
Oh, goodness.
Wow, another great factoid. Thank you.
I was just going to say to Helena, what's your favourite tipple? Because I don't really drink, but
I don't know really. I mean, I'll have a glass of red. I mean, I'm not one of these people who think, oh yes, I'm going to have one of these. To, you know, I like to have a drink now and then, but it's not part of my life, you know, all the time. So I don't really have a favourite drink as such.
And I think, you know, it's do you know, I think my taste buds have changed recently. I blame it on Dr. JACALYN, actually, you know, talking about healthy food, you know, and how to become healthy. And, you know, I used to have all these wonderful fattening dishes. You know, I think I'm starting to waste away at the moment, you know, under all this.
I can see what's happening, what's coming next, and so on. I'm wasting away because I'm getting no smoked salmon and very little chocolate.
You know it.
It'll take a while, Ian. You're all right. You're okay.
Are your clothes starting to hang on you, Ian, or is that what's happening? Because you're wasting away, you said.
Well, JACALYN, if you could see me, if you could, you know, I now feel like Oliver Twist. You know, there's a famous scene in Oliver Twist saying, "Can I have some more, sir?" You know, and I'm starting to eat a lot of leaves at night. I've noticed that. I think I've become. I think I was watching a program on the elephants the other night, and I think it's taken me over. and now. One of my friends introduced me to Chinese leaves, and to actually to create wraps instead of having bread with Chinese leaves. And I must say it's delicious. And in actual fact, as soon as this program is over, not that I wish this program is over too quickly, but as soon as this program is over, I'm going shopping and getting more Chinese leaves and hummus. And that seems to be part of my new staple diet now.
Yeah, well,
Tell us about the leaves.
Yeah.
Say it again, sorry.
Tell us about the leaves.
Well, I mean, they're all different types, and so basically, I forget which one I actually have at the moment. You know, I mean, you know, I just go to the leaf counter, if there is such a thing, and just pick up these green leaves that look interesting, and then wash them, obviously, of course. And then I'll have things like hummus. So I'll put a spoonful of hummus in the center of the leaf. I'm starting to sound like a cookery course now. And I wrap it up, almost like a normal wrap, and I consume it, and it's rather delicious, I have to say. And I've also got hooked on blueberries now as well. So I'm told that when I was looking it up the other day, why I was feeling so healthy. Or supposedly, that avocado is very good for me and blueberries are very good for me, and that's part of my staple diet. So as I say, it's like a sort of like I'm going back to caveman times or something. I haven't had Simon will be pleased, I haven't had meat in months. I've had some fish as well, so he'll be pleased about that. I'm keeping the fishing industry going in Scotland, I think, you know, with my consumption of fish as well. But you know, I think it's interesting to see how people's taste habits change.
Yeah,
I think
blueberries and avocados and so on are really, really good for you. I mean, the vitamins and the iron and the vitamin C you get out of blueberries is quite extraordinary. And avocados are, I mean, they're a real wonder food. Absolutely superb. I actually had avocado at lunch today. I know what I'm having tomorrow. I've got some smoked salmon coming. Yippee!
Helena, what about you? What about you?
I think we need some news. That's what I think. But unfortunately,
Did you feel hungry?
I was like, am I on a different show? I thought this was news and culture. Helena, what do you have for us?
Well, I mean, there's tidbits. But anyway, congratulations, Ian, on eating better. And I think as a society, we are a little bit more adventurous now. So vegetarian food and things, it's not like what we used to have in the past. You go somewhere and just have like mushrooms. Now there is so much you can do. So I get all the different dishes out there. But no, something that made me chuckle and makes me think, you know, we should be thinking about all little things that we have at home that possibly we could sell or recycle. Is that there's a farm, it's a Dorset farmer, whether he's alive or not, I'm not too sure, had his car stored in a shed for over 50 years, a Bentley. Anyway, he tried to get it MOT'd in the 60s and it failed. And he just thought, oh, you know, I'm not doing anything. I'll just get a new car. He bunged it in his shed. It became like a rust bucket and everything was falling off. But bearing in mind it was a Bentley, it has just sold for £66,000. And if you were to look at it, it was just like rickety, rusty. I mean, if I'd have seen it, you know, you wouldn't have gone near it. But I just thought it's a 3.5 litre V5, if that means anything to anyone. But it just goes to show, doesn't it, that if you I mean, I've got lots of things at the moment. I am going through all of my. I haven't got, unfortunately, I don't have a Bentley, a wonderful English Bentley I would love, but I've got lots of things from years and years of living that I just am going to. We've got all these different apps and things that you can actually recycle or sell things on, and you just don't know, do you? You don't know how much things will go for. I mean, goodness me, if we could all just suddenly find the rusty old car and sell it for £66,000.
I was just wondering, are you calling me old and rusty, but I still have a value? It's really what I was just wondering. Good.
I'll leave that to others to decide.
I have a comment on that, on Helena, what you just said. I was running 60 auctions a week on eBay while I was working my full-time job and going for my doctorate. And I couldn't believe it. People were buying my things from all over the world. And I shipped everything out myself. At the time, I was getting about 4 hours of sleep. But it made me so happy to see that my things were being embraced by someone somewhere else in the world. I had this pair of red, just a quick digression, guys, sorry, red patent leather Valentino pumps with the red bow in the front. And this woman in Australia purchased the shoes and wore them in her wedding with her white dress and took a picture of it. And I thought, oh my gosh, I just love it. But the thing is, you typically don't get what you paid for. Like in that case, that's a really interesting example. Usually whatever you paid, you get something less, but it's a lot of fun. I love things, you know, having a second, third, fourth life.
Amazing.
Well, if you could pan down on my screen, you'll see I've got my Valentino trousers on today. No, I haven't.
Okay.
Did you say 60 auctions a week? 60
auctions a week. Yeah. Wow. It was a thrill because, and I wanted 100% positive feedback. I want, of course, you know, me, gold stars. I wanted the number next to my name to be 100%. And it was, I was a power seller. So it was a lot of fun, but it's exhausting. It's a ton of work. At the time, you had to take between 8 and 10 pictures of each, you know, of each item. And then you had to, if you were selling designer, you had to establish yourself first because of counterfeit items. I don't know how things are today. I don't sell anything today, but yeah, it was fun.
Where did you find all the items? I have this feeling that your mother's house was totally.
No, believe it or not, when I was married, which was a long time ago, I got divorced in 1999. I had over 250 pairs of Manolo Blahnik shoes, and they were all stuffed bagged box with a picture on the front. And so when I got divorced, I just started selling stuff, and I had a lot of other things. I wasted a lot of money in my life, believe me. So somebody else got to experience the joy without having to pay what I paid.
Wow,
that's a lot of shoes.
It's a lot of shoes. It was a lot of therapy, believe me, Simon.
that makes me want to. I'm going to go for it. I'm at the beginning of the run, so I'm determined to get rid of lots of things.
Yeah, go for it. And you were talking about your taste changing, and my interest now is not in shoes and bags. It's in technology. I'm interested in the latest, greatest technology. That's what gets me excited now.
Well,
and you've got an iPhone 7.
I know. Well, I mean, for producing, yeah, the phone is just kind of a something you have to have. But for the platform,
it is something that Helena and I are looking at. In fact, tomorrow we're going to. Or Helena can probably tell you a little bit more as well. We're going to a technology hub tomorrow, and we may have some more news for you on that. There's something else that we were talking to you about as well. But it is. I mean, this Helena is probably much better explaining things like Web3 and so forth, because it goes all over my head, this type of thing. But I can see a lot of very excited young people thinking they're going to disrupt what is happening right now in communications and start a whole new system on the blockchain and so forth. But what do you think, Helena?
Well, I was about to say thank you. That's very kind to say that I would be able to be a bit more eloquent and be able to explain it. But the truth is, I find it very exciting, but I am not in any way up on this knowledge, this technical knowledge. I find the blockchain and everything that's going on amazing, but I don't 100% understand it. And from what I understand as well, I mean, obviously it's forward going. It's almost like we can almost live our life almost sort of in this kind of virtual reality state. It's quite odd. It's very unusual. It's very exciting. I know that Janetta on World Jenny's Day had, I can't remember his name, talking about the village and Web3, various things that had been invented with little houses and everything in. But I honestly, I look forward to knowing more. But I also don't think, I think it's something I mentioned to you today, I don't think we're at the beginning of, we're not there yet. I don't think it's a split setup, virtual reality and this. I think we're more at the beginning. So people are building things and it's this new idea, but it's got a bit of a way to go before it's going to be something that really wows people. But I hope tomorrow after our meeting I will understand more and come back to the platform, Dr. JACALYN, and we can chat about it, because I know that you find things like this exciting too. I want to know how it works. I really, really do. But we'll see.
Thank you, Helena. And I think what you were referring to is something that we saw on World Jenny's Day, which was also showed another time on the platform, but your global village, which is a metaverse. And I think there were 16 homes occupied by entrepreneurs in this virtual world. And you can actually go into their home/office, and it's decorated, and you have meetings in there, which is really kind of cool. And then they also have a community center, I think it is, and a dining area where you can actually meet. So your little emoji, or your, what's it called? Not emoji, your
avatar.
Thank you. Your avatar, like our 4 avatars would all be together. So I don't know, what I was trying to figure out, because I don't know enough about this, is what's the advantage of that as opposed to us meeting like this and having a conversation?
I think. Oh, sorry, carry on, Hannah. Sorry, carry on.
I was going to say, for me, as I understand it, it will become so real. It's I don't know however many D it is. So you will almost feel like you were there. Whereas we're here and it's great, and I love it, absolutely love it. But it's a different situation where you will almost feel like you're in the rooms, that you are sat there really with people, talking with them. And it's like reality, which actually is very scary personally, because the world could change hugely, and And obviously we need, it's interesting, I think that village as well, didn't they class it, JACALYN, as a well-being village? I'm sure it was spoken about like that. So
yes, I think so. But are we going to have virtual dating in the metaverse where you actually never get together with the person, but your avatar? Hello, how are you? Let's get married. Okay. No, I don't know.
It's weird, huh? And does that mean we will all have these glasses on? And actually, we won't be going on holiday anymore, summer holiday. We'll just be lying there with these glasses, and the sea will be rolling, and we'll have the sunshine, and we'll feel it. I mean, really, this is the way it's going. I do find it slightly alarming.
I was when I was talking to Alan Boyd the other day, you know, the guy from Microsoft. He's developing another range at the moment, which is really, it's almost like surround vision. So instead of having to wear these almost like welder's goggles types of look, within the next few years, you'll be able to have full off-screen 3D technology within your home. But you will also be able to click your fingers and so say, I want to be in a jungle now. And the next thing is that you will be experiencing a jungle with, you know, tigers walking past and whatever, you know, it could be sensory in many different ways. And the idea, again, is that where technology is going right now is quite incredible. You know, and that I think that the vision of a lot of these people is it's you know, in some ways I think it's almost isolating, and I'd like other people's thoughts on that, because if you're sat at home all the time just experiencing these things, you're not actually going into the world where the reality is. And I wonder whether this would create isolation at the end.
I'd like to jump in on that, which is, you know, I've been living on an island for however long, left the islands, and now I'm in Virginia near the DC area. And I thought, oh my gosh, like, I don't know if I'm actually ready for this, because I'm behind this green screen all the time. It's dark, right? There's nobody here, and it is isolating. And so now when I drove here to my sister and brother-in-law's, it was amazing. Like, I'm on a 6-lane highway. I was on a 2-lane road with flashing yellow lights, and you don't even see anyone. So if I had to spend all my time, my free time as well, I don't think it would be healthy. I don't know. I think you have to have some kind of connection with people real time.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting absolutely absorbed into the you know, the virtual reality world that's being created with technology. I mean, it's difficult to say this is the latest technology, because as soon as you know about the latest technology, it's been superseded by something else. It's galloping at such an alarming pace. But yeah, this sort of isolation thing is going to create a lot of mental issues, I would imagine, with a lot of people. You know, they're fine when they're absorbed in their walking through the jungle with the lions and so on alongside them, click the fingers, and then you're along the beach and so on. But there comes a time when you actually have to switch out of that and sit down and eat something, or, you know, do, you know, a normal everyday task. And that's the time when it's actually going to become quite scary, waking up to the reality when you're using you know, the technology to create these you know, jungles and beaches and what have you around you. That is being done because you want it to be done. But when you come into the real world again, when it's not necessarily how you want it to be done, because it is there and it is being done by others, that's going to hit people hard.
I think, yeah, you're right in saying about the mental health side of things, because there's nothing more delightful and nourishing for humans to, for instance, sit down, have a meal with family or a friend and chat. You know, simple conversation is so important, and you're connected in a nourished way. And I would say that a lot of this metaverse, I don't know all the words that go with it, but we're talking about this kind of world, as I see our world going, it's been built by gamers, you know, techies, nerds. I actually do get on very well with nerdy people, but it's that kind of person that is really excited and working towards almost like this new world. And they will do, if you speak with them, you'll see that they will game, and they will game for hours and hours each day. And that's now, and that's part of their life and what they do. So it does, it's a sort of a discussion, isn't it? I mean, nobody knows, and no one knows how extreme it will be. But I see, if you are someone that's into gaming and you're into technology and you already spend a lot of time, let's just say, in your room on your own, literally gaming with different people from the world, over the world, it's something that is appealing. But, you know, certainly we need human connection. We need that, you know, we need real smells. We need to be outside the real, you know, trees and the wind and the real elements, not pretend. That's how I feel. But I'm still excited because it's something new, and I love things that are new. And also it's the younger generation that's sort of really running with this, really building it. So again, equally, I'm sort of excited with their energy. So let's see.
Yeah, I'm just having this sort of, sort of nightmarish mental vision of Ian with his welder's goggles on, as he described it, and you know, looking round over his shoulder and thinking, oh look, I've got these slices of smoked salmon here. And he takes these slices of smoked salmon and he wraps them in the leaves, and he's about to eat them. The goggles fall off, and he realizes what he's done is he's reached over his shoulder, picked up a book, and each page is a slice of salmon, and he's picked up a copy of the Financial Times, which is his leaves, and wrapped his book in his leaves and just about to jump on it. It's where reality and fiction sort of collide.
You're right. It is such an interesting world, and I think with Helena as well. It's I mean, Helena and I talk most days, and Helena is a nature lover. And why do I know that Helena's a nature lover? I'll be calling Helena and we'll start talking, and I'll hear the birds tweeting in the background, and she's out somewhere. She's out somewhere, and you know, and it's almost like it's almost like talking to Nature Watch when I'm talking to Helena of a daytime. You know, because you know, or there's a cat coming around the corner or something like that, and so I think, but it is interesting. You know, you're quite right, Simon. Yeah, you can. I think, will this change people's habits? Is really the point I was trying to make. I think, in that, you know, if it isolates people more by them being comforted, it's almost like a new type of comfort food, isn't it? It will now become a comfort environment, and you know, with that, it may stop people, you know, meeting each other.
Yeah. Yes, it's a scary thought.
Yeah, I'll add, my dad was huge into technology, and he had 5 screens going at any time. He was always, whatever the latest beta test was, he wanted to be involved in it. And his name was Jack. And we were calling him Jack in the Box because he became a recluse. He literally was not interacting with other people aside from me or my mom, you know, who were right there. But I think that can definitely happen when you think about the younger generations who've grown up with technology, and you look at the issues that they have with mental health and trying to be able to communicate with each other when they're so used to talking through these devices. That I don't know. But that being said, do any of you see yourselves eventually getting a house or an office in the metaverse, a presence there?
Helena,
I'm quite happy with that.
I would like to try it. I would like to be part of it, and then make up my mind. But I don't know how. I mean, from a financial point of view, I have no idea how much anything like this costs to make or build. Or I suppose you rent the rooms, do you?
I looked into it. You actually have a design session and a strategy session about, you know, what your goals are, and then you have a monthly fee that you pay for you're keeping your unit there in the metaverse?
I don't think it appeals to me, if I'm really honest. I think because I mean, part and parcel of what I'm hearing at the moment is that there's one person involved in this new hub that we're going to meet tomorrow, and he's going to test himself in November to raise funds for Army veterans, more than anything, with post-traumatic stress disorder and so forth. So there's a record at the moment where people have to be playing games 20 hours a day with just 4 hours sleep for 9 days. This has to be consecutive. And there are so many people out there now who seem to be consumed by these games as well. And whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, because I mean, some of the things that I've been hearing recently, I don't really have time, just very quickly, but I was at a meeting the other day where what's known as white sound, and white sound can now be used to actually change people's moods. And so there's a company out there that you can take an app, and then if you want to have a happier mood, they will send what's known as white sound that will actually change the brain waves in your head to make you feel more happy.
See,
how do you feel about that?
I feel that actually, in a way, it's not as if, I don't think that's new, to be quite honest, because if you think about vibration and energy and things like that, I don't think really it's a new thing. What's new is that someone is trying to box it and use it, obviously, to benefit financially, but that's scary, because just as you can make people happy with vibration or noise that we as humans can't hear, you could equally do it to cause harm, and you could create anger and upset, and the whole world could be fighting just because of these subliminal kind of vibrations. So I'm not overly keen, actually.
I take Helena's point, but apparently this was actually developed by the US Army.
Well, there you go. What can I say with the Army?
In the 1980s, to actually change the mood of soldiers going into battle. So you know, I just say, you know, this is all conjecture, because you know, but that I think technology, I suppose, is great. We should always embrace technology. I think, you know. And I think we're, you know, in UK, and I think probably across the world, that there was a time in history in Britain which was called the Industrial Revolution, which changed a lot of the practices and actually made really Victorian Great Britain what it was at that time. And I think we're going through our new industrial revolution right now, but it's a technology revolution instead. So, I mean, you know, I hope I live long enough to see all the new things that are happening, and to be able to eat as much smoked salmon as I possibly can.
Well, that's it. I mean, for me, well, you know, give me a bottle of champagne and a side of smoked salmon. I don't need enough to make me happy. It'd be absolutely delirious.
Oh, I'm so hungry. Every show I leave, I'm thinking, oh, and I'm still fasting. Please, we have to stop with the conversation.
We haven't even got to the chocolate bit yet.
Oh, it's amazing. Amazing. Well, we've actually come to the end of the show. It's been another fun conversation as always. Helena, what would you like to leave us with today?
Do you know what? Our show, our special show, and you've got lots of special shows, Dr. JACALYN, I understand, but our show, I think it's filled with so much love, light and laughter, and we absolutely love spending it with you, Dr. JACALYN, and obviously our audience.
Oh, thank you. That was so sweet. I feel the same way. Absolutely. Simon, how about you?
Oh, I mean, today's been a revelation, whatever, of technology. But there's the saying that well, it'll be okay in the end. But if it's not okay, it's not the end.
Right. Thank you. And Mr. Pelham Turner.
I think basically what I hope we bring is happiness. To people listening to this program, that it's a positive reaction to people's views these days, and that in reality, the biggest source of value in this world are its people.
Brilliant. Thank you. Great comments from all of you. And thank you again for all your contributions to our platform here, into education, inspiration, hope, and of course, a little bit of entertainment we have here every now and then. So, all right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We really appreciate you. We'll be back next week. I'll be back just in a little while here today. See y'all later. Bye.
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 Bye.